feels so nice to be in bed after what feels like a very, very long day. I know. And it's been quite sort of rainy, and it makes you feel extra tired, doesn't it? I know, I like going to bed and sort of started to drift off. I know. This eye just wants to like close, just fall asleep. But I shall try and keep at least this one open for you. Oh, I know. But you've got your nice hot chocolate there. Now I finished my tea. Yeah, while you were brushing your teeth. Yeah. I know, wow. You know me. And tea. Yeah, just straight down. Oh, of course. Yeah. I'm not gonna have a cup of tea and not have a biscuit. I know. Anyway. Tell me everything that has gone on today. Don't leave anything out. Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you mentioned that a couple of days ago. Oh God, that is so frustrating. So frustrating. Well, that's nice at least. Yeah. See, there's always something good. There's always something good in any long, slightly tiresome day. There's always just a bit of something very nice. Yes, I did do that. I did. The weather, as we know, hasn't been the best. So it was not the most fun, but that's okay. It's fine. But I feel a little bit sort of chilled. I know. Well, I shouldn't really have this on in bed, like this long, sort of satiny, silky robe. But I like put it over me because it just felt a bit chilly. And obviously have the blanket, and yeah, so nice. Yes, I know. Well, that's what I was saying. Well, to be honest, I think that sometimes you just have to try and switch off, don't you? It can be so tricky though, so tricky. Well, why don't I try and help you to just switch off? Yeah? Yeah, of course. I'm just wondering if I should take this off or not. fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is just breathe in and breathe out. Good. And breathe in. Breathe out. And breathe in. And breathe out. Good. Just connecting with your breathing, just feeling nice and calm. Good. And I can see that you are looking nice and cozy, 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 cozy. You are. You sure you don't want to turn off the light behind you? You sure? I know you quite like it on because you like to read, but it's a little bit bright. Okay, if you're sure. Well, I think that you just need to learn to just quieten that mind. Just completely switch off. I sometimes like to read a little story before bedtime. Yeah, I mean, my phone shouldn't be in bed, but it is. It is. So, I will see if I can find a little short story. Short. I'm gonna Google short bedtime. I've actually just Googled short bedtime. Bedtime story. There we go. There we go. Oh. Okay. Oh, there's lots to choose from. You just relax whilst I have a little look. Do you know what stories I always used to love? Things like Peter Rabbit. Yeah, I want to try and find it. Peter Rabbit story online. I've just typed in syrup. Okay. I can't remember how long it is, so I will just read a bit of it potentially. Okay. You ready? Ready to relax? Okay. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and the names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to have 2 rabbits, and I called them Flopsy and Mopsy after this. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. "Now, my dears," said Mrs. Rabbit one morning, "you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie. By Mrs. McGregor. Goodness me, I've forgotten that. Now run along and don't get into any mischief. I'm going out." Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail, who were good little rabbits, went down the lane to gather blackberries. Oh, that reminds me. When I used to go and visit my great aunt in London, and I would go and pick blackberries in her back garden, and they were sort of in this little secluded bit, and it was so hot against the brick wall. Happy memories. Good times. Okay. But Peter, who was a very naughty rabbit, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate. First he ate some lettuces and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of the cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees, planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop thief!" Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. I'm still confused as to why they particularly needed shoes, but there we are. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went even faster. That's the point. Did they have 4 shoes? You think just 2? Yeah, probably 2. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately ran into a gooseberry net and got caught by large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. He looked very smart. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows, who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop under the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhat in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each. Presently Peter sneezed, "Ka-chew!" Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and tried to sorry, this is very strangely spaced out, and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter, so he went back to work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and he had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp from sitting in that can. After a time he began to wander about, going lippity-lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in a wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. That's how I feel sometimes, like a fat little rabbit. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to a family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it were alive. Peter thought it was best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe. Scratch, 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 scratch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes. But presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. The first thing he saw was Mrs. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could, along a straight walk behind some blackcurrant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate, and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running, or looked behind him until he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. I am very sorry to say that Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made him some chamomile tea, and she gave a dose of it to Peter, 1 tablespoonful to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper. The end. Well, that is just delightfully cute, I feel. Exactly. I think sometimes just having a little story and just unwinding the mind can just really reset things. And that's all we need sometimes, isn't it? I think so. And you work so hard, so hard. I know. Work can be difficult, can't it, to just shut down your brain, just stop it from overthinking. Sometimes, as you know, I like to put on some nice relaxing music and just try and zone out. I quite like to, I don't know, do something a little bit kind of on the pampering sort of scale. So paint my nails or put on a face mask or something. Just relax. I think you should try it. I do. I really do. I do like it though when we get into bed. We can just finally just relax. I know. So nice. Sometimes I get so sleepy, forget to put on all my little bits of skincare. Oh wow, you're alright then, aren't you? You don't have to worry. I think I potentially took for granted the days where I could just not do anything. I know. I do need to put on some lip stuff. Is that the heating just coming on as well? Yeah. I forget that it's on that timer. Yeah. You get that kind of hiss from the radiator. Yeah. It's quite nice actually. It's a little bit like white noise, isn't it? Yeah. I will put my balm on. I can't be bothered to move my other arm. I think it's gone pretty dead. Oh dear. And my stomach is rumbling, but I've had plenty to eat. Plenty to eat. I like this stuff though. It's nice. Do you want any? Yeah, but just pop on a little bit. Oh, so pretty. I think something really satisfying about applying lip gloss. I know. It's sort of like it has a very, very mild taste. Yeah. Nothing much. Pop that down there. I think we should not do any work tomorrow. Yeah, let's just call in sick. I know I'm a very bad influence. Let's call in sick. And instead, let's go on a little road trip. Yeah, where would we go? Oh, yes. Do you know, I'd quite like to go down to Cornwall. Beaches are so pretty there. I know. I feel like I need to relive my childhood slight surferish days. What do you mean you can't imagine me surfing? I mean, I was excellent. You get like a little camper van. Yeah. Oh, that sounds so nice. Little camper van. Hitting the beach. I feel like that's the ideal sort of setting for some nice cider. Yeah. Oh, that would be nice. Sipping on cider on the beach. Lovely. That is also true. I am so looking forward to going to Edinburgh though. I know, I'm so excited. I went quite a while ago now, so it will be lovely to go back there, and I think we're going to do some touristy things, aren't we though, as well? Yeah. I didn't do the castle last time, so I think we'll do the castle. And apparently there's this street that was closed off during the plague. If you had the plague, you were put down in the street, and it was closed off. And they do tours along it now. And yeah, I think we'll have to do that. Yeah. And lots of nice restaurants. I know. Well, the trouble is now that I'm just so accustomed to some nice comfy clothes that, to be honest with you, it's going to be quite a challenge to get myself dressed up again. I know, well, you know what I was like, even when I put on my jeans. From sort of wearing comfy trousers and stuff. Oh goodness, it was a challenge. So yeah, maybe some nice flowy dresses. Yeah. Well, do you remember I was telling you about those dresses? They are called buffet dresses, and apparently they were sort of named that, well, unsurprisingly, so that if you'd overeaten, or if you wanted to overeat at something like a buffet, then you could, because they're nice and flowy. I know, I love it. Oh, buffets. Oh, so good. I like, those buffets where you've got every cuisine. Yes. Yeah, that's so good. So good. Very naughty, but good. Yeah. Well, I think maybe we should turn that light down a little bit. That is much, much better. I'm gonna pull up the switch there. I know. Oh wow, I am very cozy. I know. Well, you're very lucky that you don't get cold. You know me, I like to be as warm and cozy as possible. Any time of year. Okay, let's close our eyes, and to be honest with you, I'll probably still ramble away to you. Okay. Are you nice and comfy? Good. Just relax. Don't worry about anything. All is good. It's all fine.